If my lifespan was predetermined, I wonder how I'd handle that. Tsukasa Mizuguaki thinks while riding the elevator that he almost missed. As he watches the numbers go up, he hears a faint crying sound. He looks behind him and finds a short, beautiful girl trying hard to hold back her tears. She notices Tsukasa staring from the boy's reflection on the glass window. As she turns around, Tsukasa is immediately captivated. In this moment, I think I've already fallen in love with you, without even knowing your name. One busy day, Tsukasa is rushing in the streets to get to his job. It's his first day of work at the Scion Artificial Intelligence Corporation or Sci-Corp, so he wants to make sure he gives a good impression. He is directed and made to travel farther to a shabby-looking building. He doesn't allow this to discourage him though, so he goes straight right in. Tsukasa proudly introduces himself in front of the few people in an old office room. Everyone stares at him in silence as he sweats and looks around. One guy smiles and waves while the girl next to him avoids eye contact. The other girl stares, unamused, and the little boy at the end glances at him with a smile but immediately gets back to his Game Boy. As Tsukasa wonders why a kid is there, an old man finally introduces himself as Section Chief Yamanobe. He tells him to ask the lady beside him, Kazuki Kawanami, if he has any questions since she's in charge of field duty. Tsukasa immediately bows to greet her, but the annoyed Kazuki inches closer to their boss and questions him because he told her they won't have any new recruits that year. Yamanobe says that Tsukasa came in recommended by the general manager, but it seems like they have no one to partner him with. Upon finding out that he has no idea about their work, this surprises his seniors, so they ask Tsukasa if at least knows what Giftias are, and he says that he is aware that they are androids who carry synthetic soul. However, he hasn't gotten a good look of them yet. The guy with the blue hair and glasses introduces himself as Constance, a Giftia. Yamanobe tells Tsukasa that the girl with the blank expression, Sherry, and the little boy on his Game Boy, Zack, are Giftias as well. As Tsukasa looks around the room, he gets surprised by Ren, who suddenly appears behind him saying he's human. He heartily slaps Tsukasa's back, sending him off. Thankfully, Constance is quick to catch him. Tsukasa looks at Constance and he says he could barely tell the difference. After this, Kazuki explains to him that Giftias have a lifespan of 81,920 hours, approximately 9 years and 4 months. After this expires, their AI gets destroyed, and that's where Terminal Service steps in, where a duo team of a human and Giftia come over to retrieve the android. Just when they thought they wouldn't have a partner for Tsukasa, a beautiful girl with purple hair named Ayla enters the room. The same one he ran to earlier. At this, Yamanobe proposes that the two be partnered. Despite the argument between Kazuki and Yamanobe, Ayla agrees to go back to work and be partnered with Tsukasa. After changing into his uniform, Tsukasa heads back to the office and is surprised by Ayla waiting for him. The boy blushes as he stares at the beautiful Giftia in front of him. He walks closer to her, introducing himself with a smile and reaching out for a handshake. Ayla shakes his hand as he asks her if she remembers him from before. The girl just nods. Tsukasa asks what she was looking at then, but Ayla only answers him with, "Error. I didn't quite catch that. Please repeat the question." Flustered, Tsukasa tries to repeat the question, but before he could, Ayla just repeated the message. This makes Tsukasa wonder if she is indeed the same person he saw before. Zack suddenly appears beside them and teases Tsukasa about holding Isla's hand for a long time. He calls out to Michiru Kinishima and says that the newbie seems creepy since he looks so smitten with Ayla. Michiru walks in, talking about how she can't stand amateurs. She warns Ayla to watch her back as Tsukasa looks like he's entertaining dirty thoughts about her. Ayla looks worriedly at the boy in front of her and asks him if it was true. Tsukasa, embarrassed, strongly denies this. Michiru then introduces herself and explains that she will be the one training Tsukasa. They immediately head out to start their work for the day. On their way to the assignment, Tsukasa asks why Giftias and humans have to be paired together. Ayla says that one serves as a marksman and the other, a spotter. It's the android's job to negotiate while the human only oversees to see if everything is being done correctly. Tsukasa wonders if there's a manual, but all she hands to him is a small pink notebook which serves as something like a training manual. Ayla also reminds him that their job won't always feel rewarding. When Tsukasa opens this notebook, all he sees are doodles and drawings. Huh. What's up with that? In his first assignment, they had to handle an old couple who owns an expiring Giftia named Eddie. Zack is there to talk and comfort the couple, telling them that they'll make sure to take of his older brother. Tsukasa is surprised with just how well this little Giftia is carrying the conversation. The owner says a tearful goodbye to Eddie at the back of the car. As this goes on, Michiru explains the process. First, the owners must sign an agreement form in advance and that they should be present during the retrieval. Zack then proceeds to terminate Eddie's memories as the old couple watches in grief. Michiru further explains to the curious Tsukasa that it's important for the owners to be there because Giftias carry memory of the owner's personal information and it's to ensure their privacy is secure. To prevent any leak, the owners have to be present until the end. When questioned by Tsukasa as to why they had to put down a healthy-appearing Giftia like Eddie, Michiru explains that in 12 hours, his whole personality would have vanished anyway. They have 3 more jobs for the weeks and Tsukasa thinks it's going to be cakewalk. This is why Michiru finds newbies so annoying. She proves her point when they get to their next assignment for the day. With a big smile, she greets an old lady who just slams the door on her face. Tsukasa reads off the details of the Giftia, saying their time limit is 5 days from now. However, Michiru explains that it's their 3rd time going there but the owner won't even give them the time of day. Tsukasa asks what happens if they don't get the old lady to sign by the due date, but Michiru doesn't answer him. Instead, she tells him they'll get her to sign no matter what it takes, so they'll just skip that one for now and go to the next 2, which will be handled by Tsukasa and Ayla. Michiru reminds him again that Ayla is a veteran and knows the inside and out of the job, so he must try to keep up with her. Ayla glances at him with a determined look on her face. When they arrive at the door, Ayla is shaking and can't even press the doorbell. Michiru and Tsukasa watch her frozen figure from behind. This makes Tsukasa ask Michiru if she was telling the truth about Ayla knowing the inside and out. Michiru adamantly confirms this, but turns out to be uncertain herself. The two bicker, with Michiru explaining she has never seen Ayla out in the field either. Tsukasa walks over to Ayla, and the Giftia says, "Error. Please press the doorbell." Tsukasa is surprised but Ayla just repeats, and so the boy does. He yells out that they're from Psy Terminal Service, but instead of having the door open to them, they hear some noise as the people inside run. Ayla, hands shaking, realizes they were outside. She goes after them only to see herself going straight down the balcony and crashing into a dumpster. Back in the office, the team is listening to Yamanobe reading to them the report. Bad news? People are angry they destroyed the dumpster. Good news? They captured the fleeing Giftia. Phew. But we're not done yet. Kazuki comes rushing in yelling at Tsukasa that he shouldn't be pushing Ayla too far. Back at his desk, he breathes out a sigh of relief as Michiru tells him that Kazuki used to be like that to her too. Tsukasa asks if the two have some history and she tells him that Ayla and Kazuki were a team years ago. Michiru adds that what happened today wasn't his fault and she will tell Kazuki about it later. Tsukasa is surprised that the girl is being nice to him now, so she explains that if he quits this early after joining it would reflect on her as a trainer. Michiru places 4 files on Tsukasa's desk, telling him to pick one of the assignments they'll be working on starting tomorrow. Tsukasa looks through them and finds the file of the old lady from earlier. Suddenly, Ayla appears on his side with a tray of tea. She says she'll be able to handle the task. Michiru tells her to forget about serving the tea and to take a bath instead. The next day, Ayla and Tsukasa are at the front door of the old lady. As soon as it opens, Ayla brings out a container and offers to drink tea with the owner. But as expected, she only gets the door shut right to her face. And this happens over and over and over and over again. It was safe to say the old woman was upset with them. Tsukasa asks Michiru about their situation as they watch Ayla busy herself with the plants. He decides to approach the Giftia to strike a conversation with her. As he bends down to crouch with her, she turns to look at him, and at that moment he is brought back to the first time he ever saw Ayla with her beautiful sad eyes. He asks her how she is. Tsukasa says that tomorrow is the time limit of Nina, the little girl they were trying to retrieve from Ms. Chizu, the stubborn old lady. Ayla whispers to herself, "As long as I'm working, even I have a reason to exist." She stands up and faces Tsukasa, and with her usual determined look, she tells him she has an ace up her sleeve. The next day comes and to no surprise, Ms. Chizu once again yells that she doesn't want them to take Nina. Ayla is surprised that her ace is still rejected, as she holds a picnic basket and snacks on a fancy stand. Shaking, she slowly glances back at Tsukasa. Earlier that day, Michiru told them that she will be heading over in the evening, so they must at least hang in there until then. But as they stand in front of the gate, Tsukasa thinks about how that's even feasible. As he is trying to think of a different strategy, Ayla tries to jump over the fence. She tells him that she must make her drink the tea today. Tsukasa tries to stop her, but she loses her balance and falls to the other side. A kid suddenly calls out to her, asking who she is. She looks up at the little girl and asks if she's Nina. She offers the lemon verbena tea that she has kept safe in the basket despite her fall. Nina just smiles at her and says she's funny, but Ms. Chizu suddenly appears behind her. She yells that if Ayla doesn't get out now, she will call the cops on her. Ayla tries to offer the tea again but is cut off when Nina tells her grandma that they can't send her away like that. She says they at least need to make her take a shower. The old lady is unamused but eventually gives in to her request. While Ayla is in the shower, Ms. Chizu tells Tsukasa that they need to leave as soon as she finishes. Tsukasa puts down the basket and fancy stand he's holding and explains to the old lady that she has several options with their situation at hand. He pulls out his gadget, saying they can forget about the 30% cashback deal and replacement discount for now. He tells her that she has the option to use the same body of Nina if she upgrades to a new OS. However, she will lose her personality and memories as Nina, but the same little girl will be the one to stay. As Tsukasa explains, Ms. Chizu clenches her fists. She wanted none of this. To her, Nina isn't just another robot but someone she deeply considered as family. If this only meant losing her, then she would rather die. After showering, Nina dries Isla's hair. The Giftia tells her she can do it herself, and the little girl laughs in response, saying that she reminds her of Ms. Chizu. Nina says she loves taking care of her grandma, but the old lady gets annoyed with her. As Nina walks to the clothes dryer, she says sorry to Ayla since her grandma is getting in the way of their work. This surprises Ayla and she asks Nina if she knew that they came to retrieve her. The little girl says yes with a smile on her face. Ayla shrugs and asks if she's not scared. The two confide in each other, with Ayla opening up that is terrified at the prospect of losing things so precious to her. She says that she would rather be a simple programmed android that cannot remember if it means forgetting her memories. Nina asks about what she means and the other explains she will lose her memories and personality when her lifespan expires. Nina ponders and says she doesn't know if she's scared. With a gloomy look on her face, Ayla says she is. She's scared of losing her memories and that if it had to be like that, then she wishes she never had them. She thinks about how it would be much easier if she couldn't store her memories and just lives automatically, driven only by programming. However, Nina says that as much she wants to stay with grandma, staying will only break her. Her final wish is that she is able to say goodbye to Miss Chizu with a smile. Unknown to the two, Ms. Chizu wasms. Chizu walks back to the front door where Tsukasa is. As soon as he sees her, he explains that he understands how she feels but that if they don't get to retrieve Nina within the day, it's going to be a problem. So, I was only thinking of myself after all, huh? The old lady says in a low voice, surprising Tsukasa when she tells him she'll sign the agreement form. She asks the boy to come inside and says she has a favor to ask from his friend, Ayla. She wants Ayla to make tea for 4. The 4 of them drink tea and eat some snacks. As the sun sets outside, Ayla puts the ring on Nina's finger. The smiling little girl looks at it, amused, while sitting in the machine behind their car. Ms. Chizu walks over to her, trying to hold back her tears. Nina speaks first, reminding her grandma to dry her hair after she takes a bath. She also tells her where her medications are kept and not to water the flowers in the garden too much. The old lady says yes to everything, and the little girl tries hard not to cry. But as she's telling her grandma to make up with the lady next door, she couldn't hold back her tears anymore. Nina wanted to leave her with a smile, but she couldn't help herself from crying. Ms. Chizu is also close to tears, but because of what she overheard earlier, she tries hard to smile and tells Nina not to worry about her. This makes the girl smile through her tears as she bids goodbye. Before the final stage of retrieval, Ayla whispers something to Nina which makes the little girl beam. Tsukasa watches on the side, gripping the file harder as he tries to fight back his emotions. Retrieval complete. In the car, Tsukasa remembers how he apologized to Ms. Chizu before they left. The old lady just told him to forget it and thanked them. He holds her file, thinking about how he didn't really do anything and yet he feels sorry. Ayla breaks the silence, saying she knows what he's thinking. Tsukasa looks over to her with soft eyes, but the Giftia just says she needs to find a bathroom. She drank too much tea and might not be able to hold it in any longer. Tsukasa panics as they drive away. Thanks for watching this recap. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to ES Anime if you haven't already. See you on the next one. Bye.